They're storming the place. Don't be left out in the cold. Hello, Gunther. I've lost my mind. Come in. Carry out my stock. Show me no mercy.
Just a minute. Just what do you think you're doing?
What am I doing? I'm wasting my breath. That's what I'm doing. I'm going fast. They'll be in here any minute to carry me away.
Now, wait.
Oh, Gunther, your wife went down to the wholesale house I told her about, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. That was a beautiful coat she got yesterday.
Yeah, I called the guy. Told him you were a cop. Short, though. He gave it to her at cost.
Yeah, she told me she saw the same coat on Fifth Avenue for $75.
Yeah, she called me up. She was crying.
Well, I never saw her so happy. Look, Harry.
Wait. You're going to thank me. Forget it. It's the least I could do. I'll see you around. Okay, folks.
Now, wait, Harry.
What?
Could you hold off on that microphone just till we drive away?
Hold off?
Yeah, Muldoon is on a warpath. Boy, is he tough today.
Francis?
Yeah, he's giving out summonses left and right. So if you could just hold it down for a while.
Sure, Gunther. After all, what are friends for?
Thanks, Harry.
Well, you certainly told him off.
That's what they're paying me for, pal.
Did you give him a summons?
What do you think?
Good. Who's next?
Katz's Butcher Shop.
He's for me.
Toody and Muldoon are just the start of my cleanup campaign.
I have all the research on officers Toody and Muldoon, sir.
Good, let me see it.
I'm sorry it took so long, but I had to double-check some of my facts. I couldn't believe them.
The commissioner isn't going to believe it either when he sees this report.
Well, these are minor violations reported by previous inspectors.
But this is impossible. Sector 3 looks like an ink stain. And nobody has done anything about it until now.
Well, excuse me, sir. When you show this to the commissioner, I'd appreciate it if you'd tell him that I did the research on officers Toody and Muldoon.
Oh, yes.
I'd like my name to be mentioned when they receive their citations for outstanding duty.
Outstanding duty? With a record like that?
Oh, these are minor violations. This is what I'm talking about. I've never seen anything like it in police history. This is a chart of the major crimes in the 53rd Precinct.
Oh, look, this is impossible. Sector 3 is completely clean.
That's right, sir. I double-checked. In the 9 years since Toody and Muldoon took over that sector, there hasn't been a single major crime. It's fantastic.
Not one major crime? You mean not even a holdup?
Not even a report of a holdup.
That's impossible.
I double-checked. Up until the time Toody and Muldoon took over that sector, it was known as the Bloody Wedge.
The Bloody Wedge?
Holdups, muggings. You remember Cusack, the worst cop fighter in New York?
I haven't heard about him in years.
He still lives in that sector. I've heard about tough cops, but Toody and Muldoon must have that neighborhood terrorized.
That'll be all.
Yes, sir.
Not one major crime since they took over.
I never heard of such a thing.
I am going to find what goes in Sector 3.
Well, you were right, Captain. They were walking all over us.
We sure cracked down.
Toody, let me see your summons book.
Well, actually, I was cracking down more than giving out summonses.
You didn't give one out.
Well, the way we worked it out, Muldoon was giving out all the summonses.
I was? Let me see yours. Well, actually, Captain, I thought Gunther
Never mind, quiet. Not one. All right, boys. That's it.
Thank you, Captain.
Wait! This time when I said that's it, I meant that's it!
That's it?
What's it?
That's it! I'm taking you out of car 54.
But, Captain, we've spent 9 years doing
I know what you've been doing for 9 years. You've been proving to me that you're incapable of controlling the people down in your sector. I'm transferring you both to foot patrol.
Back to pounding a beat?
Not just any ordinary beat. I'm giving you the midnight shift down on the waterfront. Since it's obvious you don't know how to handle people, let's see what you can do with the seagulls.
I'll be with you in a minute.
That's okay. Take your time.
It's a change, Mrs. Colby. Excuse me a minute.
All right, children. Excuse me. Here, Francis, you take this for Mommy. And Gunther, you carry that for Mommy.
Francis, Gunther. Excuse me, madam. The children are named Francis and Gunther?
Yeah, they're named after 2 patrolmen in the neighborhood, Francis Muldoon and Gunther Toody.
The children were named after the policeman?
They were born in car 54.
They were.
Practically all the children in the neighborhood were born in car 54.
They were?
You know how long you have to wait for an ambulance? But when Toody and Muldoon know you're expecting, they stay within yelling distance. Mister, this is the only neighborhood where we got girls called Gunther. Goodbye, Mr. Katz.
Yes, sir. Mr. Katz, I'm thinking of opening up a cleaning and dyeing store here somewhere in the neighborhood, but I'd like to know a little more about it.
It's a neighborhood. You don't make a lot of money, but you got friends.
What I'm chiefly concerned about are holdups.
Hold-ups. That's one thing we ain't got.
You mean you've never been held up?
Oh, I was held up. When was the last time? Let me see. 9 years ago, right after Toody Muldoon took over.
9 years ago?
Yeah, a guy came in here, pulled out a gun, says, hands up! Suddenly I'm thinking, if this guy holds me up, I gotta make a report. If I make a report, Toody and Muldoon gotta spend all their time investigating the case. Who's gonna deliver my chickens if I get stuck? Who's gonna sit with the kids in the car while their mothers are shopping? Who's gonna do the millions of things they do for this neighborhood? So while I'm thinking, my hand is reaching for a salami. I give the hold-up man such a hit on the head, he's out cold.
You didn't report this robbery either.
Why bother Toody and Muldoon with such a complicated report? They'd only mess it up. A couple neighbors came in. We carried out the hold-up man and dumped him in another precinct.
You did all this for Toody and Muldoon?
Let's face it. They're so busy, they got no time for regular police work.
I understand.
The other merchants started doing the same thing. Hands up, hit on the head. In a little while, all of a sudden, no hold-ups. Where were you thinking of opening the cleaning and dyeing store?
I'm not quite sure.
Yes, well, you won't get rich, but you won't get held up either.
Thank you, Mr. Katz. Thank you.
You reporter, huh?
Yeah. My editor was wondering how come Cusack, the city's #1 cop fighter, hasn't been in the news the last 9 years.
I'm as good as I always was. It's just that they double-crossed me.
Double-crossed you?
Yeah. Up to 9 years ago, they used to send cops in this area, and boy, how I belted them out. Here, I'll show you my scrap.
Oh, I know all about it.
What happened? Suddenly, they transferred a couple of clowns into the neighborhood, Toody and Muldoon, and they stopped me cold.
What do you mean?
How can you belt a couple of guys when your own kid is born in the back of their car? You know, when they pick you up on a cold night when you're waiting for a bus and take you wherever you want to go, like it was a taxi. You know, the first time they came around, I thought I had him. I had a little fight with the wife. You know, we made a little noise, and there they were coming right up the stairs. And I thought, oh, boy, here's where I built a couple of cops.
What happened?
They was bringing my mother home from church. How can you hit a couple of guys when they're bringing your mother home from church? No, those two jerks ruined me. Today I'm a has-been.
I don't care what duty you have to pull them off. I want a car and 2 of my best men in the 3rd sector by tomorrow.
Captain Block?
Can't you see I'm busy? Inspector!
Captain? Just to apologize to you would be an empty gesture. I can only hope that you weren't laughing at me when I came storming in here this afternoon.
Laughing at you?
You old-timers, from your experience, know just the right men to put in the right spots.
You mean Toody and Muldoon?
Brilliant piece of administrative work, Captain. Oh, I noticed from the sign-in board as I came in that they're still on duty. Captain, I'm going right over to their sector and shake their hand.
Well, Inspector, I think you may have a little trouble finding them.
Don't you worry about me, Captain. I'll find them. Captain Block, what is it?
Never mind, get in here. We'll pick Toody up, and I want you two to get back to your sector. I don't know what you've been doing there, but keep doing what you're doing.
But who's going to patrol this?
Never mind, get in. Hurry up, will you?
Hey, officer, you got a match?
There's a whole Rolled up in the Bronx, Brooklyn's...
Weekday afternoons, see how a bunch of hillbillies adjust to the good life in Beverly Hills on The Beverly Hillbillies. Weekdays at 5 in the Time Warp on CKVR.